Hi, I'm Amin, and in this presentation, I will be explaining the introduction of this topic, which is ransomware threats to Linux OS. First, what is ransomware? Ransomware is a type of malicious software that encrypts files and restricts access to a system, preventing users from accessing their data. The attackers then demand a ransom payment in exchange for restoring access. While ransomware initially targeted personal computers, modern ransomware campaigns now focus on enterprise systems where the impact is much more greater. On the next point, we will talk about why Linux systems are commonly targeted. It is because they are widely used in servers, cloud platforms, and enterprise environments that host critical service and sensitive data. This system often run continuously and are exposed to the internet, increasing attacking opportunities. If compromised, a Linux servers can cause significant operational disruption, making it a highly valuable target for ransomware attackers to get their money. That is all from the introduction. Now, I will give you a bit of an overview of what we will be getting into next. Up first, they will explain how ransomware attack Linux system, including common methods such as SSH brute force attacks, unpatched vulnerabilities, malicious scripts, and cron jobs, along with a step-by-step attack process. After that, we will be getting into a Linux ransomware case studies, discussing how attacker can access the damage caused and the impact on the affected system or organization. The presentation will then cover Linux security defenses, including cryptography, authentication mechanism, firewall, and intrusion detection system, showing how these technologies help prevent ransomware attacks. Finally, we will conclude by discussing prevention strategies, which is privilege separation and best practices such as backup, system updates, and monitoring to strengthen our Linux security. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, I will be going over the main ways of how ransomware can attack Linux system. One common method is through secure shell brute force attacks. Attackers repeatedly guess weak secure shell passwords, and once they get in, they can install ransomware on the system. Another way is through exposed vulnerabilities. If a Linux system is not regularly updated, attackers can take advantage of known security flaws to gain access. Attackers can also upload malicious scripts. These scripts are designed to encrypt files and sometimes disrupt or damage the system. Lastly, ransomware often uses cron jobs to stay active. By setting up scheduled tasks, the malware can restart itself automatically even after the system reboot. Next, we will move to the typical steps of a Linux ransomware attack. First, attackers scan the internet looking for weak or unprotected Linux servers. Once they find one, they will try to get access, usually through weak passwords or misconfigured services. After that, they upload the ransomware to the system. Next, they try to gain higher privileges, often aiming for root access so they have full control. Then, the encryption phase begins, where files are locked so users can no longer access them. Finally, a ransom message appears, demanding payment in exchange for restoring the files. Last but not least, I will be explaining why Linux servers are targeted by ransomware. First, Linux is widely used, especially on servers that run websites, cloud platforms, and data centers. This makes it a high-value target. Second, Linux servers usually store important data, like company files and databases, which increases the pressure to pay the ransom. And lastly, these servers are running all the time, since they are online 24/7 and exposed to the internet. attackers have more chances to find and exploit the weaknesses.
On this slide, I'm going to talk about a real-life case study of a ransomware attack on Linux system. In June 2017, a South Korean web hosting a company called Nayana was hit by a ransomware attack known as Erebus. This attack targeted the company Linux servers, which were used to host thousands customer websites. The attackers were able to get into the system because the servers had weak SSH security and were running outdated Linux software. This made it easier for the attackers to access the servers remotely and spread the ransomware across the network. Once the ransomware was deployed, it encrypted data on 153 Linux servers. As a result, more than 3,400 customer websites were affected. Important files, database, and configuration were locked, which caused many websites to go offline. After that, the attackers demanded a ransom in Bitcoin. Nayana ended up paying a large amount of money, but even then, they couldn't recover all their data. The recovery process took a long time, and services were disrupted for weeks. Overall, the damage included major data loss, service downtime, financial loss, and a very slow recovery process. This case clearly shows that Linux system can also be targeted by ransomware if security is not properly managed.
Now I'm going to talk about Linux security defense, cryptography and authentication. Linux security defense focus on a protected system using cryptography and authentication. First, Linux using decryption with LUKS, which encrypts the entire hard disk. This means data cannot be accessed without the correct encryption, so that keeping data safe even if the system is stolen or attacked. Second, Linux protects user account through the password hashing. Passwords are not stored in plain text. Instead, they are saved as hashed or sorted values. This prevents attackers from easily stealing a password. Third is hash key authentication. It provides security remote access. Instead of password, user login using a encryption key pairs, allowing only authorized user to access the system. Next is a multi-factor authentication or MFA. Adds another security layer by requiring an extra verification steps such as a one-time password or mobile confirmation. When combined, this security method creates a strong multiple-layer defense that protects data, prevent unauthorized access, and reduce the risk of ransomware attacks.
Linux provides multiple integrated security mechanisms to protect system and network, starting with firewall, which is UFW, uncomplicated firewall, act as a user-friendly front end to IP tables or NF tables, enabling administrator to quickly configure basic firewall rules without dealing with low-level configuration. IP tables is a traditional Linux firewall utilities that manage packet filtering through the net filter framework by defining rules in tables and chain to allow or block network traffic based on IP addresses. To overcome IP tables, complexity, and perform limitation, an F table was introduced as a model replacement, offering a simpler rule syntax, better efficiency, and unified management of IPv4 and IPv6. Also, other network filtering features. Beyond firewall, Reinhard released on intrusion detection system to identify malicious activity. Snort and Suricata function as network-based IDS by analyzing traffic in real time to detect attack signature and abnormal patterns, while OSAC operates as a host-based IDS that monitors log, file integrity, and system behavior. Using these two together, Linux can detect and block ransomware activity by identifying suspicious files, encryption behavior, unauthorized privilege escalation, and command also control network. Once detected, firewall rules can block malicious connection, IDS system can drop harmful traffic, and access control mechanism can restrict processes from modifying critical system file, effectively preventing ransomware from spreading and cause extensive damage.
Alright, let's finish strong with some quick tips to keep ransomware away from your Linux system. First, backups. Think of it like safety net for your files. Backup regularly and store them offline or in secure cloud, so hackers can get to them. Next, updates. Keep everything up to date. Updates patch security holes and make it harder for ransomware to sneak in. And last but not least, monitoring. Keep an eye for anything weird, like files suddenly encrypting themselves or your CPU acting funky. Spotting problem early means you can jump in before things get messy. So, 3 simple things: backup, update, and monitoring. Do this and you are already a step ahead, keeping your Linux system safe. So, to sum up, Linux system can fight ransomware better with a layered approach. Use strong access control, encryption, firewalls, and instruction detection. Keep your system updated. Monitor it regularly and always have reliable backups. This step helps stop attacks, spot problem early, and recovery fast. Simple, but it makes your Linux system much safer and strong against ransomware. That concludes our presentation. Thank you for your attention. And remember, prevention is always better than cure when it comes to ransomware.